Trip gang, man. What it do, man? What's poppin'? If we ain't hot, hey, we finna be the hottest. And today, y'all see what we got. I couldn't leave this. I'm back on the sports reactions. Y'all know I'm really waiting when it get close to the playoffs for me to go ahead and do my sports reactions and my highlights and my all this and all that. But y'all see, if y'all don't know, I'm Lake Show all day. LeBron, AD, Lake Show all day, Kobe. Hey, Lakers Nation over here. But listen, we ain't really gonna too much talk about that. Y'all see the Nets over there trying to assemble the Avengers. But we ain't gonna get into all that. Just know when it get close to that time, that's when I'm gonna crank it back up. Because last year, I had everybody mad at me last year. Oh my God. Y'all should have, if you knew over here, y'all should have seen it last year, how I was trolling and doing this and that, saying how LeBron was finna get that hardware. And he did, of course. But anyway, y'all see what we got today. Top 10 biggest draft busts in NBA history. But I don't got too much to say. Let's get straight into it. But before we get into it, make sure y'all hit the link in the description. Go check out my sports videos. If y'all didn't know I'm an athlete, y'all go check out my sports videos. Go check out all that. I ain't just no reaction channel. I do everything. But listen, smash that like button for your boy. Hit the sub button, notification bell. Let me know what else reactions y'all want to see. With that being said, hey, let's hop straight into it.
Draft picks are like a double-edged sword. If they're spent wisely, any franchise can become a contender in just a few years. If the franchise screws up the draft, they'll miss one of the few chances to make their team competitive, leaving them stuck in the mud and ridiculed by the world. In this video, we'll talk about those instances where the GM screwed up badly. Here are the 10 biggest NBA draft busts ever.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
Number 10. Adam Morrison.
I remember Adam Morrison.
Adam Morrison always looked like a really tall member of a punk band. But when he was at Gonzaga,
he
that
played for
long
Gonzaga.
hair and thin mustache was averaging 28 points
Speaking
per
of
game.
Gonzaga, did y'all see that game versus Baylor? Oh my God, Baylor didn't nearly ran them out the gym. But I knew Baylor was gonna win. I don't want to sound like everybody else and say, you didn't know, you just go out off the hype, this and that. I knew Baylor was gonna win. No cap. I honestly did know Baylor was gonna win. Gonzaga, they was tough, but Baylor came out swinging. No cap. Craig and Debo straight swinging, ain't stopped. That game was, oh my God. It's like you cannot let Baylor get hot from the 3-point line. But let's see what he's talking about.
He was a finalist for the NCAA Player of the Year. Morrison was the third draftee to shake David Stern's hand in the 2006 draft, and Charlotte hoped he'd be their franchise player for the next decade. But he wasn't. Morrison shot just 37% from the field as a rookie, and it was obvious he'll never come close to his college numbers. It was straight downhill from there, as Adam blew out his knee in Season 2. When he returned, he was a shell of the player that once led the NCAA.
That's the thing about it, too. Injuries can really mess a player up, too. So if it's really a big injury, I wouldn't count that as a bust. Because injuries, like, sometimes you cannot come back from, you cannot shake back from an injury. Injuries are some career-ending injuries, or that's big. Like, when you get injured, sometimes you don't come back as the same player. And they say he blew out his knee. That's one of them injuries that'll do it to you. Derrick Rose still tough to me too, though. But he not that player he once was before, just because the simple fact of that. But I wouldn't count that as a bust.
He won 2 titles with the Lakers in 09 and 10, warming the bench, because that's all he was good for at that point, after which he retired at the age of 25. Number 9, Derrick Williams. Williams was the second pick in the 2011 draft, and he was drafted ahead of Kemba Walker, Klay Thompson, and Kawhi Leonard, among other players who all had better careers. Williams is a prime example of a highly athletic player who shined in college just because he was more physically talented than everybody. Once he got to the NBA, where everyone is athletic, the truth was soon out, and it was ugly. Williams couldn't shoot, he couldn't dribble, and he couldn't defend. Apart from a few highlights, Williams didn't produce much and showed almost no improvements in his game. After bouncing around the NBA,
that transition gonna be different though. Transitioning from high school to college to NBA, that's different. Because high school, of course, from middle school, it's a little bit slower. You get to high school, okay, moving a little bit faster. But when you get to that college level, and when you get to the NBA level, you going up and down. You got to defend. You got to be quick. You got to be quick up and down. Transition. If the game gets faster and faster and faster each and every level. The higher level is the fastest, which is the NBA. But that transition could be difficult from high school to college to NBA. I know, especially from college to NBA, because in high school, of course, you could be top over. You could be you could be a dog over there because everybody's not athletic on the high school roster. Now college, you got sort of kind of half and half, but when you get to the big boy NBA league, oh my God, you think you seen people athletic? You ain't seen nothing till you hit that stage.
He's now playing overseas, even though he's still in his 20s. Number 8, Leroy Martin. Leroy Martin was another successful college player who simply wasn't good enough for the pros. Drafted 1st overall in the NBA and 3rd overall in the ABA, Martin was considered the worst number 1 pick for a long time. He was selected by the Portland Trailblazers in 1972. The scouts saw Martin in 2 college games, which was enough for them to draft him in front of future Hall of Famers Bob McAdoo and Julius Erving. When he came to the NBA, it was apparent that he could not play and that he's more suited for minor leagues. Despite being a 6'11" center, Leroy shot just 41.6% from the field for 5 points per game. After 4 years, he was out of the league and retired from basketball after rejecting multiple offers from Europe. Number 7, Hasheem Thabeet.
I remember
2009 was one of the last years the NBA GMs still searched for dominant centers that can battle in the post against the behemoths that were Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan, or Dwight Howard. And Hasheem Thabeet, a 7'3" center, had plenty to offer to those GMs, at least on paper.
I remember playing with him on 2K. Who did he play for? I want to say the Bulls. Because I remember playing with, I think this was like 2K13, 14. I don't remember, but I remember playing with him.
Extremely athletic and mobile for that size and length, and had half the NBA drooling over his defensive potential. Unfortunately, his basketball skills were far below his athletic gifts, and Thabeet proved to be a player with arguably the lowest basketball IQ to ever play in the NBA. Thabeet later admitted he only started playing ball after his growth spurred, and that his only interest in the game was because he thought he could get drafted and make money. Memphis wasted their 2nd pick on a player that never averaged more than 3.1 points in a season, and Thabeet was out of the league after 5 years. Number 6 and number 5, Sam Bowie and Greg Oden. Before the 1984 draft, Portland Trailblazers needed a center.
Don't count.
They needed someone.
I don't think I remember Greg Oden had injuries. Greg Oden don't count. Nah, I don't think he really counted as a bust. Because them injuries, like I said, them injuries tough. I don't think Greg Oden count, bro.
I could battle with Kareem and the Lakers. And they already had an all-star shooting guard, Jim Paxson, and 2 talented young wings in Clyde Drexler and Kiki Vandeweghe. So, they drafted Sam Bowie in front of 3 future Hall of Famers, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, and John Stockton. Bowie's scouting report described him as an athletic rebounder, a masterful blocker on defense, and an extremely versatile weapon on offense, who can move well, shoot from outside, and pass better than most NBA centers at the time. The only issue was his left leg, which he broke during his junior year at college, but Portland's officials determined it was fully healed and that it would be a non-issue going forward. I can still remember them taking a little mallet, and when they would hit me on my left tibia, I would tell them, I don't feel anything. He ended up playing just 139 out of a possible 410 games in his first 5 seasons. Despite his injuries, Bowie has had an 11-year NBA career in which he averaged 11 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 2 blocks. While Portland's reasoning is understandable, and they drafted what they needed at the time, you can't argue with the results. And because he was drafted in front of Michael Jordan, many consider Sam Bowie as the biggest bust ever, through a little fault of his own. And 23 years later, history repeated itself. This time, Portland had the first pick, and they decided to spend it on the best center in the NCAA instead of another generational scorer. Greg Oden was supposed to be the next Shaq, and it really looked like he could be the next dominant NBA center at times. Unfortunately, those times were very short. Oden played just 82 games for the Blazers, after which multiple knee injuries forced him to retire at the age of 22, not counting the short stint with the Heat. I'm not keen on calling Oden a bust, because the man could really play when he was healthy. But the problem is
Greg Oden was tough. He could play. But knee injuries are serious. I don't know why they think that's light. Knee injuries are tough. Like MCL, AC, all that is tough. A knee injury, period. Like, you're not going to come back the same player, 100%.
The team who drafted him could have drafted Kevin Durant instead. Number 4, Michael Olowokandi. Coming from Nigeria and standing at 7 feet, Michael Olowokandi had a golden ticket to make it to the NBA. He was big, strong, and athletic, which was enough for him to bully most of his opponents in the NCAA. He dominated the Big West Conference in his senior year, with the averages of 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game. And
now, that's not bad, though. Did he say college or did he say NBA?
And athletic, which was enough for him to bully most of his opponents in the NCAA. He dominated the Big West Conference in his senior year with the averages of 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game. And was
look at them numbers. Them numbers really good. Points per game 22, rebounds per game 11, blocks 3. That's a solid stat line. But that's college. Like I said, different. When you transitioning, it's different.
Named Big West Player of the Year. It was enough for the Clippers to select him first overall, in front of Vince Carter, Dirk Nowitzki, Paul Pierce, Mike Bibby, or Antoine Jameson. When he came to the league, he and everybody else soon realized that his size and athleticism could only go so far.
Yep.
Although Oluwakandi was a solid defensive player, he never developed any sort of offensive game, apart from open dunks and putbacks. The Candyman averaged just 8 points per game per his career.
Well, the game's so advanced now. You can hear he probably be, if he was in the league now, he'd probably be out there shooting threes. The league, so it's the flow stretched now. You get the bigs coming out, they stretching the flow now. So hey, you don't know how these bigs could have played in today's NBA, because with everybody shooting threes. So I don't know, but like I said, them knee injuries, them knee injuries tough.
For 43% shooting, which is unacceptable for any center, let alone the first pick. Number 3, Kwame Brown. At first, he was the perfect rags to riches story, not uncommon in the NBA. Growing up surrounded by guns and violence, Kwame Brown kept his behind in the gym, and it paid off. Kwame was a fast and athletic 7-footer who was averaging more than 20 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 blocks as a high school senior.
Okay,
he was named the best high school player in the country and the greatest talent of his generation. He became the first high school player selected first overall, rejecting multiple offers from the NCAA, which would have been more suited for his basketball and emotional development. But there's simply no turning down Michael Jordan and millions that come with the first pick, so he became a wizard. And once MJ decided to make another comeback, Kwame also became a teammate of the man who just drafted him, which didn't go so well for him. After an initial friendship between the 19-year-old kid and the man twice his age, who many called the GOAT, MJ started to lose his patience with Brown. He berated him at every chance he could and insulted him like he did Jerry Krause in The Last Dance. Kwame couldn't take it, and he completely lost his confidence and then never regained it. He averaged just 6 points.
Now that's facts. When a player like you getting criticized, you getting this, holler that, this and that. Because a lot of coaches today, they take a player out of their game. And in high school, that player not even playing to his full potential because either he's nervous, he don't want to shoot this shot because he feel like he going to get took out the game. He don't want to do this because he feel like he going to mess up and he going to get put on the pine. I went through it. No cap. I went through it. It was a time I was like, it killed my confidence. And it was like, I'm not even hooping like I hoop no more. Like I'm hooping. This not even me hooping. This not me, because I'm not pulling the shots I usually pull. But it wasn't even like that. It was just crazy. But I understand that though. I understand that part, because you can, when you take a player confidence away, that'll kill a player right there. That'll kill his game right there. He not even playing the same. Ain't shooting his shots. He don't want to do this. He don't want to make the wrong rotation because he feel like it's gonna be wrong. And second guessing himself, end up on the pine. But hey, I understand that though. I understand that.
6 points, 5.5 rebounds, and half a block per game in his 12-year NBA career, frequently switching teams, with a bust label following him everywhere he went. Number 2, Darko Milicic.
Darko
Milicic was presented to the general public as the next star big man from Europe and was supposed to follow the trend set by
You know
Dirk.
That's crazy. It's always bigs that get picked a high overall though. It's like bigs always go first. No cap. It's like, well, it depends on what fits the team. Yeah, that plays a part too. But mostly, if it's a tough big man in the draft, they gonna go high. They gonna most likely go number 1, number 2. No cap.
And Pau Gasol. The Pistons had the 2nd overall pick. We're on the hook. They drafted Darko in front of 3 future Hall of Famers, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. Coach Larry Brown had a championship team in Detroit, and there were not many minutes for Darko, who handled it very immaturely. He never worked hard in practice. He partied almost daily, and when he got an opportunity to play, he pouted and isolated himself from the team. The Pistons traded him in his 3rd year, after just 96 games he played for them. While Braun, Melo, Wade, and Bosch were all averaging over 20, Darko averaged just 1.6 points, 1.2 rebounds for Detroit. He stuck around until 2013.
That ball was
His career
just out
averages
there.
just 6 points, 4 rebounds. Number 1, Anthony Bennett. 25% of all players selected.
Tell me why I knew Anthony Bennett was going to be number 1. I knew Anthony was going to be number 1. Let's just hear. Let's listen.
Overall, make first-team All-NBA at least once, while 55% of them play in at least one All-Star game. When it comes to Anthony Bennett, not only did he not make an All-Star team, just 4 years after he got selected first overall, he was already out of the league. Far from a spectacular college player, Anthony Bennett became the first Canadian selected as the first pick of the NBA draft. To much surprise of the whole world. He was picked ahead of Giannis Antetokounmpo, CJ McCollum, Rudy Gobert, Victor Oladipo, Steven Adams, and other quality players. Some will say that the burden of the first pick ruined Anthony Bennett, that he never developed his game due to pressure, and that moving from team to team ruined his potential. But that's simply not true. He was just plain bad. Bennett was inefficient offensively, with a low basketball IQ, and he couldn't guard a chair. He shouldn't have been drafted at all.
They talk about he could guard a chair.
And that's why he's the biggest bust to ever play in the NBA. Thank you for watching.
Why they do that part like that?
And subscribe.
They talk about that boy couldn't guard a chair
every day. Let us know what you thought about this video in the comments. And would you put any other draft bust on the list?
They say that man could not guard a chair. But like I said, man, and back to the confidence stage, like about that confidence, like how you get your confidence snatched, that'll change a whole player's perspective on how he gonna play his game. He ain't even gonna want to play his game no more because you just snatched his confidence. Like he didn't work. It's pouring down outside, but he didn't work. You know what type of dog you is. I seen Gilbert Arenas talk about this before. We worked on it, so we know what we can do. But if you snatch a player confidence, that'll take a player out. Like that'll just ruin them. That can tear a player down. But that's tough going through that part. But that was the biggest draft bust. What that was? I don't even know the title no more because this ad. Let me skip this right.
Free tan from Suntan City. You're ready for every adventure.
Top 10 biggest draft busts in NBA history, man. Like I said, man, if you new to the gang over here, join the gang. Don't be lame. We ain't just no reaction channel. Go check out my sports videos, my basketball 1v1s, 5v5, 4v4s, my football video. Go check all that out, man. Links will be in the description. We finna be traveling around the world real soon, playing your favorite YouTubers. Just traveling and going to different parks, pulling up on people. Just spreading positivity, love, joy, all that, man. So if you new over here, just smash that like button, hit the sub button. Let me know what reactions y'all want to see. Hey, we out of here.